Hi, everyone. Whew. um, it's been a while since I have done a live, since I have stepped into these shoes. So today I'm here to talk to you about rising from the ashes of self-sabotage. And I want to share this with you because, well, today is actually, this live is the first step for me in rising from the past year of just like this domino effect of self-sabotage. And the reason I want to share it with you is because I believe that what I've experienced and what I've learned might really be in service to those of you who could be going through the same thing, and that you might not know. Because I went through this not knowing. I had no idea that I was doing it to myself, that I was destroying something that was working. So I'll start with the story, and then I'll tell you what I've discovered, because I saw that there are three sort of arrows that came and just were like cannonballs. That came and destroyed what I had built. So yeah, it's more like cannonballs. And then the three pillars that are solid enough to hold the structure together. Yeah, so I'll go through it as I talk to you today. So the story is, starting during the pandemic, I had this inspiration, this impulse to offer to women workshops and programs that where I share the tools that I've learned, that I've used to help myself love myself. And the impact of loving myself was really huge for me. And so I was like, I had this curiosity, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go and see if this is what women would like, because I really believe that we're not taught, in general, we're not really taught to know our boundaries and claim them and love ourselves how we look, because we're always encouraged to be better, prettier, sexier, etc., etc. And so I wanted to give women really some good tools to develop this relationship with themselves, with their inner child, and create this, yeah, solid ground to stand on. And it went well. I did my first program. It was 5 weeks. That was super successful. The feedback and the testimonials, they went great. And then I did it again. And then I did my biggest launch, which included Love the Shit Out of Yourself free webinar, which I had never done before. And I actually ended up doing it twice, because the first time it didn't go the way I wanted it to. So I did it twice. And then I had some people register for my program. It was 6 weeks at that point. And then, like, during that time is where, like, looking back, because believe me, during, like, when it was happening, I had no idea. But during that time, I could already feel three things happening. When I look back, I'm like, oh yeah, that's where it all started. And it was comparison, rejection, and pressure. So first, let's start with the pressure, because that is the number one for me, is that I put myself in positions where, or in a position where it's like, this needs to work. If this doesn't work, my life is on the line almost, well, my livelihood is on the line. And so here I am trying something new, never done before, and unconsciously, because I mean, if I was conscious about it, I'd be like, hey, could you just shut up and let me do what I need to do and do this for the first time? And if I fall on my face, that's totally fine. But this unconscious part of me was really putting on the pressure. This needs to work, Mel. And if this doesn't work, you're a failure. So that was number one. Number two, comparison. At this point, it had been about, 7 or 8 months. And I started to see that there were more and more women offering, offerings, giving, or how do we say that? Like, there are more offerings for women. They're multiplying. Women's circles were super popular. Entrepreneurship for a business for women, sexuality for women, et cetera, et cetera. And I started comparing the amount of attention I was getting to the amount of attention that others were getting. And that, the whip started coming on. And then I would go back into the pressure of like, do, take more classes, try more things, write some blogs, do more videos, add more offerings. It was kind of nuts. I was on the hamster wheel, just really going at it. And then I got really scared of rejection. I became paralyzed. Like, I'm doing so much and I'm not getting the results that I want. And now I'm petrified because I don't know where to go next. I've tried so many things and it's not working. And in reality, I was just spreading myself thin instead of focusing on one offering, on one thing that really lights me up, and to just have faith and to just keep going with that. So it took a really long time for me to untangle everything that I just explained to you. There's so many layers to it, like how I beat myself up and how I compare myself, and this freezing, this terror that comes in. And then, worst of all, is that this part of me now says, it's been too long that you haven't given any offerings. You can't go back. And there was also one more thing. Someone said to me, Mel, you should put everything together. Your inner fire dance and your inner fire women, you should put them all in one place, because you're like, it's too much to have two things on the go. And for some reason, because this person is an entrepreneur and they're doing very well, I took their advice and I did it. The thing is that it's not what I really wanted, because the work that I do, this radical self-love, love the shit out of yourself, work and play and exploration that I do is maybe not for everyone. And the way that I apply it is that I apply it for women, people who identify as women. And that's just how it expresses itself, how it makes sense to me, because I identify as a woman. And that has been my journey. And I can only give what I already have, what I know. I don't know what it is to be gender neutral. And I don't know what it is to be a man. It doesn't mean that I can't apply what I do to everyone. I can. But what called me, what was authentic to me, was inner fire women. And I love it. It lights me up so much. So after digesting all of that journey, I realized that there are 3 pillars that counter the 3 cannonballs that came to destroy everything, which is courage, self-forgiveness, and self-acceptance. I had to accept this what was unconscious part of me, and will most likely be a part of me forever, where I believe this part of me believes that by destroying everything, she keeps me safe, because it was dangerous for me to be in my power, for me to be in my light when I was younger. So this younger self translated being empowered and out there and seen as quite dangerous. I had to forgive myself for destroying something that was working, that people wanted, that women were responding to. And lastly, today, I've been gathering the courage, and today, here I am. I'm doing my first live in eons. Oh, yeah, and since, I think my last live was maybe in February, something like that. So I had to take the courage and show up here and expose myself, and also claim and exclaim to the world and to all of you, I love this work. I love gathering with you and supporting you and accepting yourself completely, and then supporting you also and being in your full self-expression so you can live your best life, feeling alive and joyful and full of pleasure. And this is how I bring it. I bring it through mirror work, through movement, through play, through journaling, through sharing and connecting and being vulnerability. So there you have it. There's my story. That's what I discovered. I really hope that if you are in a place that you're struggling, that you're wondering why things aren't working the way you want them to, and you're feeling worse and worse about yourself, that you take a moment to really ask yourself if you are simply, and I say it's simple, it's not easy, but it's simple. If you're simply scared of showing up, because that's what it was for me. And then, the comparison, the rejection, the pressure, all of that. And then see how you can take a moment to just be like, I have this part of me that might want to sabotage, that might want to whip me from making a mistake or for things not working out the way I wanted it to. I'm just going to say thank you for trying to protect me, to this part of me, and I'm going to keep showing up. Yeah. And there's so much more. There's so many other ways also to keep going, like being in our curiosity and finding that pleasure and that joy in what we do, and try to ignite that and reaching out. Because the thing is that when something is unconscious, it's really hard to see it. Obviously, it doesn't want to be seen. It's hiding in the shadows there, and it's running the show until we shine a light. Sometimes it's really hard to do that on our own. So reaching out to friends, family, maybe a therapist, someone who can support you in seeing what's going on. But number one is to slow down and see where you can just welcome all these parts of you. And it's a continuous practice, because I see that shining a light on this part of me doesn't mean that it's going to make her go away. It'll just make it so that I can see her more easily and maybe quickly, quicker. I don't know how to say that, more quickly, when she's trying to take over and ride the show, So, I see that I got some comments there. Oh, I don't know who it is. For some reason, it's not showing, but thank you so much for your comment. I'm sorry it doesn't say your name, but maybe it'll say when I go onto the page. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening. And I am here. I'm really, really here if you need to talk, if it's something that's coming up for you and you want some support around that, yeah, please reach out. I wish you a sensational day. All right. À bientôt. Ciao.